Today, we're going to explore why, despite billions poured in and some genuinely incredible tech strides, self-driving cars in 2025 are still, well, far from perfect. We'll be drawing from a pretty comprehensive guide that looks at the fundamental challenges across technology, regulations, safety, infrastructure, economics, ethics, the whole lot.
It covers a lot of ground.
Right. And our mission for you, the listener, is to unpack each of these barriers so you walk away with a really clear understanding of the why behind this elusive promise of fully autonomous transport. So, okay, let's get into it. It's easy to think, oh, it's just a software bug, or they just need a better sensor.
Yeah, a simple fix.
But as we dive in, you'll see it's a much more complex web, really interconnected.
And what's truly fascinating here is how deeply interwoven these challenges are. It's not just about the car itself, right? It's the entire complex ecosystem it needs to operate within.
Exactly.
Which really raises an important question. What does it truly take to integrate something so transformative into our world?
That's the core of it. Yeah. So let's start with the tech inside the car, the technological tango, where sensors struggle and AI learns. Sensor and perception issues.
Yeah.
I guess the first thing is weather dependency. Bad weather must be a nightmare.
It's absolutely critical. I mean, these cars rely on a whole array of sensors: LiDAR, using lasers for detailed 3D max, radar for range and velocity, cameras.
It works.
Right. But adverse weather just profoundly impacts their reliability. Rain can create false returns for LiDAR. Fog drastically cuts the range of optical sensors. And snow. Snow is probably the greatest challenge.
Why snow specifically?
Well, it obscures everything. Lane markings, signs, it creates unpredictable surfaces, things sensors just struggle to interpret accurately. It basically blinds or confuses them.
Okay, so not just severe weather. Are there other environmental things, like maybe just the sun?
Absolutely. Lighting is a huge challenge. Camera systems, even with improvements, they still grapple with intense glare, deep shadows, low light conditions.
Right.
The way light changes throughout the day, sunrise, sunset, it can cause object detection algorithms to fail. They might miss pedestrians, cyclists, even other cars. Imagine driving straight into a blinding sunset yourself.
Yeah, you squint, you use context.
Exactly. A camera struggles similarly, but without that human brain interpreting context.
That makes total sense. But if they struggle with glare on a sunny day, what about the really weird stuff, the unexpected things? Edge cases, right. Are these actually rare or more common than we think for a system needing near perfection?
That's a crucial point. Current AI is great at common scenarios, the everyday stuff, but it struggles mightily with these unusual edge cases things, not explicitly in its training data.
Like what? Give me some examples.
Okay, think about a construction zone with temporary signs that change daily, or an emergency vehicle needing right-of-way, coming from an unexpected angle, an animal suddenly darting out, or even just a pedestrian acting completely unpredictably. The crucial need here is for split-second decisions and, frankly, common sense. The car has to distinguish between, say, a plastic bag blowing across the road and a child chasing a ball. That distinction seems subtle to us, but for the AI, it's the difference between life and death.
Wow. That immediately leads us into the AI decision-making challenges themselves. We've all heard the philosophical trolley problem, but for self-driving cars, it's a real programming dilemma, isn't it?
It is, profoundly. In those unavoidable accident scenarios, how is the vehicle programmed? How does it weigh lives? Passengers versus pedestrians, other drivers.
Yeah.
And it gets even more complex. Do you factor in age, the number of people involved, probability of survival?
Oh, man.
And what's more, different cultures, different legal systems. They have vastly different ethical views on these trade-offs, so creating a universal algorithm, almost impossible. It's a real ethical thicket.
And even putting aside those huge moral questions, just the basic act of generalizing what the system has learned. Yeah. That's a massive hurdle for machine learning too, right? It's not just about throwing more data at it.
Not at all. I mean, machine learning models can look impressive on specific test data sets they were trained on, but they often struggle to generalize to completely new real-world environments. Think of it like this. Train a student on only one type of math problem from one textbook. They might ace that test.
Sure.
But put them in a physics class or give them a different style of math problem and they struggle. That's generalization. An AV system trained on wide California highways might perform poorly on, say, narrow European streets or chaotic traffic in a developing country.
Because the rules are just different.
Exactly. The underlying dynamics change. And deep learning needs massive data, but by definition, these critical edge cases, They're rare. That's the tension.
Okay, so beyond the car's brain, there's also the mapping challenge.
Mhm.
HD maps sound amazing, but keeping them updated everywhere seems like a logistical nightmare.
It absolutely is. HD maps are crucial for many current systems. They provide incredible detail lane markings, signs, road geometry down to centimeters,
Oh.
but maintaining them across entire countries, huge challenge. Roads change constantly, construction, weather damage, city improvements, even small differences between the map and reality can cause system failures, big ones.
So what happens when the road doesn't match the map in the car? That sounds like confusion waiting to happen.
Exactly. The AV has to handle dynamic conditions that don't align with its digital map. Temporary lane closures, new construction, changed traffic patterns, unmapped roads.
Especially rural areas, maybe.
For sure. Rural or newly built areas often lack that detailed map data, which severely limits where these vehicles can actually operate effectively. That's why you mostly see them confined to very specific, pre-mapped urban zones.
Okay, so we've dug into the car's internal tech challenges, sensors, AI brain, maps. But even a perfect car can't just exist on its own, right? It operates in society, within a legal system. Which brings us to the next huge hurdle, the legal labyrinth and safety scrutiny.
Mm-hmm.
When a human driver crashes, we generally know who's at fault. But a robot car? Who? Who pays? Who's responsible?
This is truly one of the biggest barriers. Traditional liability assumes a human driver. But AVs create this complex web of potential responsibility. Is it the car maker? The software developer? Sensor suppliers? Mapping companies?
Or even the human supervisor, if there is one.
Right. And there's a paradox there. Regulations often require a human to be ready to take over, but expecting someone to stay alert when they're not actually driving? Well, it often leads to slower reaction times. They're kind of excluded from the task.
And for insurers,
Yeah.
their whole model must be up in the air.
Completely. Traditional factors, driving record, age, location, become less relevant. Insurers now have to think about like the software versions, sensor reliability, the manufacturer's safety track record. It's a fundamental shift in assessing risk.
And it sounds like there's no single rule book for this globally, or even within a big country like the US. That must be a headache for companies trying to scale.
That's exactly right. Unlike aviation, which has pretty unified international standards, AV regulations vary hugely, country to country, state to state, even city to city.
Wow.
This fragmentation creates enormous compliance costs and limits global scalability. The EU, the US, China, they all have different standards, different testing requirements. A car certified in one place might need expensive changes to operate somewhere else.
And how do you even certify an AI system for safety? Testing every possible scenario seems impossible.
It's an immense challenge. How do you test an AI for every possibility, especially those rare edge cases we talked about? Current certification is incredibly time-consuming, super expensive, and might not even properly test performance in unpredictable real-world conditions.
The regulators are playing catch-up.
Essentially, yes. Organizations like NHTSA in the US and Euro NCIP are developing new protocols, but it's ongoing work. They're struggling to keep pace with the tech.
Okay, speaking of safety, let's talk accidents and reliability. We hear about AV incidents, and it can sound alarming. How should we think about those numbers?
It's true. There have been incidents reported. NHTSA data shows 3,979 total incidents involving AVs, with 473 in 2024 so far.
That sounds like a lot.
It does in isolation,
Right.
but you have to contextualize it. Compare it against the millions and millions of miles AVs have driven globally, and critically compare it to human driver accident rates. Take Waymo, for example. They reported 696 accidents between 2021 and 2024. But, and this is key, not all were caused by their system. In fact, Waymo Driver has shown a 76% reduction in property damage claims and has completely eliminated bodily injury claims compared to human drivers in similar areas.
That's a huge difference. But it's fascinating how one bad incident can just dominate the headlines, right? Like the cruise shutdown. That felt like a massive setback. Why did that one have such a big impact, beyond just the technical failure?
You're hitting on a critical point about public trust. Yes, Cruise, GM's AV unit, shut down operations in 2024 after that highly publicized accident where a vehicle dragged a pedestrian.
Yeah, that was awful.
It was, and it shows how a single serious incident, especially involving injury, can derail an entire program regardless of overall safety stats or millions of safe miles driven. The public, understandably, demands near perfection from autonomous systems, a standard we don't hold human drivers to, frankly.
So it became a lesson in how fragile public and regulatory confidence is.
Exactly. A stark lesson.
Another metric people talk about is disengagement rates. How often a human has to take over? How are those looking? What do they really tell us?
They are showing significant improvement, which is positive. For instance, Tesla's FSD, their full self-driving system, version 12.3.6, 98% of drives reportedly have no critical disengagements. That's way up from maybe 60% just 2 years ago.
So progress.
Definitely progress.
hmm
But it still indicates that human intervention is frequently needed for complex or unexpected situations. It's not quite set it and forget it driving yet, not by a long shot.
And it's not just physical accidents. There's the whole cybersecurity risk. These are basically computers on wheels, aren't they?
Precisely. Highly sophisticated, interconnected computers on wheels, which makes them inherently vulnerable to cyber attacks.
What could hackers do?
Potentially take control of critical systems, access sensitive passenger data, even disrupt entire transport networks. And the increasing connectivity over-the-air updates, vehicle-to-everything communication creates more attack vectors.
Those over-the-air updates seem convenient, but yeah, a security nightmare potentially. It's one thing if my phone gets a bad update.
It's another if your car does. It's a very real concern. A compromised update could affect thousands of vehicles at once, creating huge safety risks.
So it's a balancing act.
A difficult one. Balancing rapid software updates with incredibly robust security. Because unlike a smartphone app, automotive software updates can literally be a matter of life and death. They need far tougher validation and security.
Okay, we've covered tech, we've covered legal and safety. Now let's look at the road ahead. Infrastructure, trust, and the bottom line. Starting with the literal road. Our infrastructure.
Yeah.
Is it chicken and egg thing? Cars waiting for roads, roads waiting for cars?
It's a bit of both, really. Our current roads were designed for human eyes, human drivers, not AVs. Many roads lack clear lane markings, consistent signs, predictable patterns.
Things humans kind of just figure out.
Right. And construction zones, detours, maintenance, these create situations that current AVs really struggle with because they rely on precise, consistent cues from the environment.
What about that futuristic idea of cars talking to everything?
Right.
V2X, vehicle to everything. Is that happening?
Well, V2X technology promises a lot, enhancing AV capabilities by letting them talk to traffic lights, signs, other vehicles.
So they know what's happening beyond their own sensors.
Exactly. Real-time info about traffic, hazards. But deployment is still very limited. It requires massive coordination between, city governments, car makers, tech companies, and huge infrastructure investment. Smart city initiatives are starting to address this, but it's slow and uneven. It's a patchwork, not a unified system yet.
So even if the tech was perfect and the rules were clear, there's still the human element. Trust. I mean, honestly, would you hop into a fully autonomous taxi in a busy city right now, no safety driver?
Yeah.
That gut feeling. Public trust seems like a huge, maybe intangible barrier. What's driving that skepticism?
That's really the crux of it in many ways. Public trust is a profound hurdle. The tech is expensive, the rules are still evolving, and unless you live in, Phoenix or parts of SF,
You can't even use it.
right, you probably can't access it fully. And those high-profile accidents, even if rare statistically, they seriously impact public perception. Many consumers are just deeply skeptical about giving up control to a machine, especially for something like driving. We trust other humans, imperfect as they are, in a way we don't yet trust AI.
And that leads to the practical point that these services are still so geographically limited. You can't just buy one and drive anywhere.
Exactly. Most AV services operate in carefully mapped urban areas, often with favorable weather. Waymo, you mentioned Phoenix, San Francisco, a bit of LA. That geographic limit means most people just can't access these services, which hinders broader acceptance too.
Okay, from the consumer side, let's hit the economics and industry challenges. Cost is obviously huge. And then scalability. How do you even build these things efficiently en masse?
Yeah, hardware is still very expensive. A single LiDAR unit can cost tens of thousands of dollars. Plus, the high-performance computing needed to process all that data adds significant cost.
Are prices coming down?
They are, gradually, but it's still far from mass market affordable. And manufacturing at scale, that requires totally new processes, new supply chains, you're integrating complex sensors, powerful computers, sophisticated software, all while maintaining automotive-grade reliability and safety. It's not just like adding a new feature, it's fundamentally different.
And the industry itself.
Yeah.
It feels like it's seen some consolidation, maybe a bit of a reality check in recent years.
Indeed. There's been significant consolidation and, frankly, reduced investment compared to the peak hype. Many companies have scaled back their grand ambitions for full autonomy, or they've shifted focus to more achievable driver assistance features, acknowledging that all these challenges, tech, regulations, trust, are still major obstacles.
Right. And finally, we have to touch on the really profound ethical and social side, particularly job displacement. Millions of people drive for a living. Truckers, taxi drivers, delivery folks. That must be a huge source of anxiety. Are we talking a sudden cliff or more gradual?
That's a critical question. The transport industry employs millions globally. AVs could potentially eliminate many of these jobs, creating significant social and economic disruption.
When, though?
The timeline is uncertain, but the potential impact is enormous. Some hope for a gradual transition, but for the individuals affected, it's a direct threat to their livelihood, regardless of the speed.
And retraining isn't simple, is it? Especially if the new jobs need totally different skills.
Exactly. Many driving jobs are held by workers without college degrees. Transitioning to entirely new careers can be particularly tough. Addressing this needs comprehensive retraining programs, robust social support systems. It requires policymakers and companies working together proactively. It's a societal responsibility.
Okay, one more ethical dimension. Data privacy. These cars must be collecting so much information. Where we go, when, how. It feels like a massive digital footprint.
They absolutely are. Vast amounts of data, precise location, travel patterns, potentially even conversations or biometrics if they have in-cabin monitoring.
And that data is valuable.
Incredibly valuable for marketing, maybe law enforcement, other purposes, which raises huge privacy concerns. And the questions of who owns this data, who controls it, they're largely unresolved.
Like, do I own my travel data? Can companies sell it? How long is it kept? How is it protected from breaches?
All complex, unanswered legal and ethical questions right now.
So we've laid out this incredibly complex landscape of challenges. What's the current state of play? Who are the leaders? What are their approaches? And what's the realistic path forward look like?
Well, you have companies like Waymo really focused on fully autonomous vehicles using comprehensive sensors, detailed HD maps, aiming for high autonomy, but in specific areas, what they call their operational design domain. Then you have Tesla, emphasizing camera-based systems, using neural networks, aiming for broader scalability with a vision-first approach. But their FSD system still explicitly requires human supervision. It's more of an advanced driver assist right now.
And the traditional car companies?
Companies like GM via Cruise before the shutdown and Ford, they've generally struggled to keep pace with the tech-first companies. They often seem to be scaling back ambitions, focusing more on those advanced driver assistance systems that help the human driver rather than fully replacing them.
So it doesn't sound like a sudden revolution's coming tomorrow. More like phases, a gradual evolution.
Precisely. That's the consensus now. Expect continued, significant improvement in driver assistance systems, better highway driving help, parking assist, traffic jam pilots.
Things that make driving easier, not eliminate it yet.
Exactly. And we'll see AV services gradually expand, but in carefully controlled environments. Maybe dedicated highway lanes for trucks, specific urban zones for robotaxis. There will be a slow reduction in human oversight as systems get provably more reliable and the regulations mature.
And maybe the environment changes too.
Right. More integration with smart city infrastructure, making the world a bit more predictable for the cars rather than expecting the cars to handle absolutely everything perfectly right away.
So bottom line, fully autonomous vehicles, everywhere, all conditions, operating perfectly, still years away.
That's the reality, yes. Fully autonomous vehicles in all conditions are still years, maybe decades away from widespread deployment. Limited autonomous services will keep expanding, sure, but widespread adoption for you and me to just buy one, that'll likely hit specific niches, first highway trucking, urban ride sharing, and geofenced areas before it becomes the everyday norm.
Okay, so wrapping this up, what does it all mean? The promise of AVs is incredible, almost utopian. But here in 2025, perfection is still out of reach. And it's not just one thing, is it? It's this complex web AI limits, sensor issues, fragmented laws, cybersecurity, public trust, huge economic shifts, job displacement, data privacy.
It's a long list.
It really is. This deep dive shows the question isn't if self-driving cars will eventually get there, but how quickly we can tackle these multifaceted challenges, holding back widespread adoption and success. It's going to need unprecedented cooperation. Tech folks, policymakers, society, all working together.
To create a future that's not just autonomous, but safe, fair, and genuinely beneficial for everyone.
So, thinking about all this, what stands out to you most about these challenges? What dimension do you think is the absolute biggest hurdle to overcome right now, and why?
That's a tough one.
And here's something provocative for you, the listener, to think about. If our world isn't really built for fully autonomous cars yet, How much does the world need to change for the cars versus how much do the cars need to adapt perfectly to the world just as it is? It's a fundamental question of adaptation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Where does the balance lie?